Hello everyone, welcome back at Fromagerie, and today I will show you to make three very easy sauce pesto to use when you make your pasta, but also I will give you some tips to use this pesto in different type of way, as you can put on top some grilled meat or even just as a simple dip with some bread. The first pesto that I will make, it's Aubergine and Ricotta Pesto. It's very typical from South Italy and is lovely because it's made with some charred grilled aubergine that gives a little bit a hint of smokiness, some pecorino, some Parmigiano and some ricotta. So first of all that you need to do is to grill your aubergine until the skin is get nice and charred grilled. If you don't have a grill, you can do the same method in the oven at 220 degrees for around 40 minutes until all the aubergine is cooked and is soft. Once the aubergine is ready, you can take your aubergine, put on your board and very easily just peel off all the skin of the aubergine. And if it gets a little bit tricky, you just open up a little bit and with the help of a spoon, you're going to scoop up all the meat inside. And this method is gonna give extra sweetness to the aubergine, but also the smokiness that I like inside this recipe. So here I got my aubergine. And once it's done like this, you don't need to do anything else, just scoop up all the mix. So for the recipe you will need a food processor, or at home you can even use a mortar if you have. So in the food processor I will put one aubergine that I cooked before. Also you will need 100 grams of ricotta, and this recipe are very easy and quick because the only things that you need to do is just put everything inside the food processor and blend it. So I got here inside my aubergine, my ricotta. Now I will put 100 grams of Parmigiano, 50 grams of pecorino, and I got here 100 grams of cherry tomato. This cherry tomato I slice in half and I put in the oven at 100 degrees for around 1-2 hours until I want just a little bit roast. In this method you're gonna lose up a little bit the extra acidity of the tomato and you will bring up all the flavor of the tomato. If you don't want to do this, you can just use a fresh cherry tomato just cut in half. But I suggest to do this step so you give extra depth to the recipe. So I put 100 grams of this tomato inside. Now I got here 50 grams of almond. You can keep that on with the skin, and 1 teaspoon of pine nuts. Also, I will add 50 grams of basil, some salt, some olive oil, some salt, pepper, and I will blend everything. Now, depends how you like your pesto. You can use it quite smooth, or if you like a little bit chunkier, you can leave it a little bit in a bigger piece, the nuts. So this one, as I will use for a pasta, I will make it nice and smooth. I will use a spatula just to bring back all the ingredients together. Done. Just in a few minutes, our aubergine pesto is ready. I'm gonna put in this bowl. And this pesto you can use use it inside a pasta. So when you cook the pasta, leave one glass of the cooking water when you drain the pasta, and you will help with a bit of the water from the pasta to lose up a little bit the sauce and mix together in your pasta, the pesto. And also at the end, just you can put a bit extra pine nuts and a good grate of pecorino. So here we have our first pesto, aubergine and ricotta. Okay, ora for our next pesto, we're gonna do a Sicilian pesto. This one is almost very, let's say, apparent from the Genovese pesto, the one with the basil. As many years ago, the Genovese merchant passing by Sicily, they were stopping in port of Trapani, and here they share like the knowledge, the recipe of the basil pesto, but the Sicilian, they give a twist on it, using also some tomato, and change it with the pine nuts instead of the pine nuts using their own almond. So for this one you will need some sun-dried tomato, some fresh tomato, basil, some toasted peeled almond, and some grated pecorino. So first of all, I will show you quickly how to peel a tomato. So you will need some boiling water, and at the tomato you will need to remove the base with a small knife and also do a cross on top of it. And this one you will blanch inside the water for 10 seconds. So I'm gonna wait a little bit more that my water start to boil, and I'm adding my tomato inside here. And also you need icing water. So as soon as the tomato is ready, we're gonna put inside icing water to stop the cooking. So remove my tomato and I will put inside my icing water, and just I'm gonna keep it there for a few seconds. After this time, I'm going to peel easily the tomato with a small knife. And as you can see, I'm just removing the skin of the tomato without removing the pulp of the tomato that we need for this recipe. And after the process, I will cut my tomato in 4 and deseed it. And I did before some already. So for the recipe, you will need 50 grams of basil, fresh basil, 50 grams of toasted almond. You will need 50 grams of sun-dried tomato. I'll go here 100 grams of tomato, 50 grams of pecorino, 1 clove of garlic, and this recipe, they are very easy because like this pesto you can use for not only for pasta, but this Sicilian pesto is very nice with some grilled chicken. So when I got all my ingredients in my food processor, I'm gonna switch it on, and I will add a good amount of oil, around 50 ml, and the oil will help the pesto to combine together. If you see that your pesto is still a little bit too dry, you can add a little bit extra oil. And as I said before, if you like a little bit chunkier, just keep it a little bit less inside the food processor. If you like a little bit smoother, just keep it a little bit longer. So all the ingredients, they will combine together. After, I will add a little bit of black pepper, and just a little bit of salt, not too much because already we are adding the pecorino and the sun-dried tomato, they are already a bit salty. I got my pesto ready. Ora I will do the next pesto. This one is walnut pesto. It's a beautiful creamy pesto, and it's perfect if you're gonna use it for gnocchi, for example, or even for some nice pasta like a ravioli with spinach and ricotta. So also this one, as I mentioned before, once you cook the pasta, keep always a bit of like one glass of the cooking water. And with this cooking water, you're gonna lose up a little bit the pesto, make it like nice and creamy before adding to the pasta, or with the sauté with the pasta itself. So for this recipe, I will need 150 grams of walnut, 20 grams of breadcrumbs, 50 grams of Parmigiano, 100 ml of milk. Also this time I'm gonna use some marjoram. Marjoram is not very common herbs, but it's beautiful inside the walnuts as it gives nice bit of fresh lemony flavor to it. So you don't need too much because it's quite powerful. So just 2 strings of marjoram inside. I will add a little bit of black pepper, pinch of salt, and also 1 clove of garlic. Now I'll close my mixing machine. And same things, I'm adding 50 ml of olive oil until all the pesto is nice, well combined together, and it's got a nice smooth consistency. This one also suggests a little bit crunchier, don't smooth it too much, because it's gonna give a nice contrast when you will use it with your gnocchi. This walnut pesto is ready. So in very less than 10 minutes, we prepare 3 different types of pesto here. I got here the Aubergine and Ricotta, the Sicilian Pesto, and Walnut Pesto. And as I mentioned before, you can use this one to saute with your pasta, with your grilled meat, or even nicely just with some crudité and just as a dip. Like these two, they are perfect. So just have fun with it, and thank you very much. See you at the next one.